Who, Duke? Duke and Arkansas play.
Welcome in to a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live, powered and driven here by Ghost Chevrolet. A beautiful night of basketball that we will get to. Half of the field of the Sweet 16 is set, of the Elite Eight is set after last night's games. Fantastic basketball games. We'll talk to Jordan Faircloth coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning. We will also talk to Nathan Velasquez, and it is Foodie Friday here. Compliments of our friends over at Iverstein's. Remember, we are every Friday we eat. Compliments of our friends Iverstein's over on Perkins Road. You can stop in and see them. They're moving locations into a new shopping center just right down Perkins. But Iverstein's Butcher and Farms, our Foodie Friday segment, brought to you, of course, by Iverstein's, and can't wait to see what the cooking couple has got cooking up for us. I think a little steak and fries this morning. A little steak and fries for us. How we feeling? Carpool Queen in this morning, 7 a.m. Stewie is here. Noah is here. Lloyd is here as we start off this morning. Carpool Queen has to get to a track meet at 2 o'clock today. I don't know what's going on, buddy. I don't hear anything in here.
And Lloyd's wearing shorts today, so there's that.
No shower after the workout.
No shower after workout. Had to make sure we got on. Little switcheroo, then we'll be all set for Monday.
Nice.
We're back to the no video calls things this morning.
Like we can't do it.
Well, we just went back to the old board, and then at 12:30 today,
Okay.
we've got our training session that is going to finalize and install the new soundboard, which will give us the capability of doing video calls
Of calling
and
Rico.
phone calls every single day. So, Rico, you skid today. Going to give you through the weekend, buddy. I know that we were
Rico.
talking a little bit about today getting your height and weight officially on the video call after we gave you 24 hours after you were ducking and running yesterday when you got called out.
Call Panamsky.
But we will be back with you on Monday for your opportunity to give us your tale of the tape. All right, Sweet 16 last night. And remember, daily, we're brought to you by Ghost Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. And then also daily, we're brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Our phone line every day is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Jason Ramazan and Charles Harvey. All right, last night, incredible basketball. Arkansas beats Gonzaga 74-68 in a game that the Hogs, I thought, really controlled from start to finish. Gonzaga had opportunities. They made a little bit of a run late. Arkansas was able to hold them off. But for the most part, I thought Arkansas really was in control of that game the entire time. They had a 32-29 halftime lead when, once again, JD Note gets a bucket right before half to give Arkansas a little bit more of a cushion as they were up 1 and were able to extend that lead to 3. But once again, Williams and crew down low for Arkansas really control it. Even though Timmy had 25 points last night for Gonzaga, they just looked a little off.
They
and
did.
Arkansas, I think, was to credit to that was, like Bill Raftery said, whoever was calling that game, was it Raftery that was calling that game? That, I mean, Arkansas just wants to kind of muck it up. They really just kind of want to make the game dirty, make it grimy, make it tough for Gonzaga, because Gonzaga is such a smooth team. Like, they're so well coached. They run the floor well with guys like Timmy and Holmgren and Nimhard. They really are a well coached and good group. And if you can, confuse them or just kind of take them a little bit out of their comfort zone, which Arkansas was able to do early on. They attacked Holmgren early on in the game and got him in a little bit of trouble. They did the same thing in the second half. And you could tell Gonzaga could just never find their footing. There you go, buddy.
Everybody's bracket's now completely busted,
man.
Except me and Lloyd. We're going to win some money on
Good
Arkansas,
job over there,
Lloyd.
Lizzie.
That's right. That's how we work.
Give me a mic check over there, Noah. Is that working?
Yo, 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 yo.
You hear him?
I don't hear him.
He's popping though.
Okay.
I don't really hear any of us, though, so maybe we do hear you.
I hear you. I hear you.
Can you hear me?
I hear everybody.
I hear everybody.
Okay.
Even you, Coach K.
Did you see the fouls on Chet Holmgren?
Chet Holmgren?
Holmgren? Yeah.
Fouls.
Those
Especially
fouls
that
were kind of
fifth foul.
questionable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
fifth
that
one.
fifth foul.
The fifth one was
Fifth one.
like, I don't think it was a foul.
But that's
Fifth
how
one.
that's Arkansas played the way Arkansas plays. They
Yeah.
And they
defense
continue to put
whistles.
pressure on you.
Yeah, they play defense and they get the refs to blow whistles.
Yeah.
That's how they play.
They do.
I love them.
Arkansas is a scary team right now. Now you've got Arkansas and Duke, and I thought that the best game of the night, even though Gonzaga goes down, the top overall seed goes down 74-68. Michigan gets beat by Villanova 63-55, and Houston last night bludgeoned the number one seed in Arizona 72-60. But for my money, the best game was Duke, Texas Tech. This was a heavyweight fight, man.
Loved it.
These were two teams that were going back and forth, and I thought going into that game, I really did think that Texas Tech was gonna win the game. I thought that they were the more confident team. I thought that they were not necessarily the better team, like on paper, as far as the rosters were concerned, but they were just playing and in a better spot mentally. I really thought that, towards the end of the year, Duke started to kind of tail off, and I didn't know if it was the victory lap for Coach K or the pressure of being Coach K's last team and playing North Carolina at Cameron Indoor for the last time, the last Selection Sunday, the last opening round game, the last Sweet 16, all the stuff that K is going through for the last time. I thought the pressure would catch up with them. They looked last night that they had taken a different step in the postseason, and it looked like their stars were playing like their stars. Banchero,
God, he's a freshman.
he looks a little different, man. I think that he's going to be a top 3 pick. I really think that he's going to be one of the top picks in the draft. And last night, I thought he proved that. Throughout the season, I think people just fell in love with his intangibles. His size,
Right.
some of the smoothness in which he plays. I mean, he looks really good in pregame, right? Wow, you're like, look at the size of this guy. He can
First
handle
off
the
the
ball.
bus.
Absolutely. And for a lot of the season, you would watch him play, and, you could see flashes of it, but you were like, I don't see it. I don't see the whole thing. This guy's a top 3 pick. Maybe he's the number 1 pick in the draft. And then I saw Jabari Smith play, and I thought, well, that's what the number 1 pick in the draft looks like.
Yeah.
That guy controlled the game for 40 minutes. He was the best player on the floor. There was no question about it. But now Banchero
22 points.
and allowed 22, like big 22. I thought his shot from the
Big
outside,
22.
3 for 4 from 3 last night, and all 3 of those 3-pointers were timely. They were big shots, and it showed a different part of his game. I think if he has that part of his game where he can shoot it from outside, just his physical style is going to, make him dominant under the rim and getting to the rim. But if he can shoot outside like that, he is a top 3 pick. He is. And I thought that the story that Kay told about him after the game is going to go a million miles for decision makers and scouts and general managers when he said, with about 8 minutes left in the game in the huddle, he had a different look to him. It was like he had taken that next step and he wanted to be in this moment. He wanted the pressure of being the best player on the floor in a Sweet 16 game that you're not supposed to win, that you're not favored to win. And he stood up, took control of that game, and I thought it was really impressive. And now Arkansas and Duke square off in a 2-versus-4 game that is going to be just fascinating, man. I mean, that game is going to be awesome when you think about just the matchups of, Roach is a stud.
He is a stud.
I mean, he's a player.
15 points, I think, right? Last night.
Yeah, he had 15. Williams had 15. I mean, Griffin was playing well. I mean, they're kind of starting to round into form here.
That's as good as Duke has looked all
That's
year.
as good as I have not watched them play a lot, but I have watched them play throughout this season, and I was always leaving thinking, this isn't one of his better teams.
Well,
this isn't.
The way they've gone, they've had the ancillary pieces kind of working,
right?
And then there's a game where Paolo's working,
right?
And this was the first game that they put it all together. And you saw Banchero with a different level of intensity. Like, this is the first time you saw him really want it. And so it elevated everybody else. And so they finally played as a full squad.
They are a different team when he's playing like that, for sure. I mean, they are a different matchup when they've got a superstar who is accepting the moment like Banchero was last night. That's March basketball. I think I had a take earlier this week where I said March Madness was overrated.
I think we were all in our feels a little bit. I think we were still a little down.
Yeah.
But March Madness is not overrated.
It's not overrated.
Not overrated
We're
at all.
back in it.
Whoever told you that.
Every time, yeah.
Whoever told you that.
We're back in it.
Just when you think you're out,
Shoot the messenger
it
on that
pulls
one.
you back in.
Well, because your bracket gets busted, but now we can vote. Now we can gamble.
You can vote
here.
too if you'd like.
We can vote, but we can also gamble.
Women's rights.
Which I like that more than a bracket.
Speaking of brackets,
It's not International
but
Women's Day.
gambling. We still got some futures out there, boys.
How we
looking?
Some futures. Good. You got Arkansas,
Yeah.
UCLA, and Houston still all afloat. So
Yeah. I'm standing with
10
you
to
in
win
Arkansas.
500 on Arkansas. Come on, Hayes. Come on, Hayes.
Tonight we got St. Peter's is back in action tonight. Cinderella is
Dougie.
coming back to the ball. They'll be facing off against Purdue. That'll be the first game of the day on CBS. That'll tip off around 6 o'clock this afternoon. Providence and Kansas, in my opinion, is going to be the one. I think that this is the game. I didn't know that Providence median age on their team was 23 years old.
Yeah.
That's a totally different
mature.
team, man. That's men playing kids.
That is.
Right? I mean, that's like a lot like, Alabama's offensive line over the last couple of years. I mean, like they've had like 22, 23-year-olds on their offensive line, defensive line, and it doesn't matter if Mason Smith can bench press this studio. If he's 18 years old and he wraps up with a 22-year-old, that's just different strengths.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I just lost a tooth.
No, you
Oh
did
my
not.
God.
No, Jordy, are you serious? How did I missed it? I didn't see
He's
it
a hockey
happen.
player.
Let me see. Wait, look at me. Turn to me.
No, he's on. Look at the camera. Don't put it back in.
Don't put it back on camera.
Tough guy. Oh
Did
my
it
God.
hurt?
Take it
No,
out.
not at all. I can't take it out.
Yeah, I just saw
sometimes
it.
it just pops out.
That's
the
awesome.
first time it's happened.
No.
What
Not
a
at
good
all.
party trick you got going on.
I was,
The Ron Swanson.
The ladies
everybody-
love it.
I was just,
Ladies
yeah, right.
love him, the tooth falling
What do you know
out.
about a tooth? I was talking the other day in a room
I thought it was a piece of gum.
when I was speaking
Like a
the other
chicle?
day. It came out, and then the first time it came out, I didn't know that they could come out. What's up, B? Office looks great, bro.
His tooth just fell
His
out.
tooth just fell out.
Office looks incredible.
His tooth just fell out.
Literally
of his
just
mouth.
fell out on his shirt.
He's trying to not talk about
It's
it.
amazing.
No, I'm trying to tell you the stories about how I figured that it could happen. The first time it happened, I took a bite into it was like a steak. I did a combo bite at lunch with a steak, broccoli, and potato.
Oh,
All in
You know
one
what I mean?
bite.
All perfect bite.
Love that.
I love the bite. And as I was going in, I took a bite and the tooth came out, and I thought that I had chewed into like a piece of fat because I
You
hit
can
this.
feel the gum.
Yes, and then I hit the tooth, and I'm like, oh my God! And I could tell people were like looking at me like, are you okay? Because I was like, whoa. I was like trying to get it out, you know what I mean? And then I was supposed to speak. I'm supposed to speak at this luncheon that I'm at, and as I'm speaking, I take a sip of water right before I speak, and I turn around and, thank you for having me today. And my tooth, I can feel it starting to slide. I can feel it starting to and I'm like, I can't at this point. Yeah, right, I got a microphone. I can't. and then it just kind of like, I feel it like kind of, and I just catch it with my tongue and turn around and like kind of like readjust and then like turn back around as to if nothing happened.
That's a smooth
I
move,
can't believe
partner.
you haven't swallowed it, honestly, by this point.
No.
Ugh,
Just
I-
eating it.
I
Like
hate
dogs
tooth
do.
stuff.
I know.
But good news is that
It's
the
back in.
that is great news. But the best news is that the final part of the leg of the tooth implant is Wednesday at 10:30
Ooh.
with Johnson Spiller.
Is
So
it going to be bad?
no.
Okay, that's good.
No. I think it's just a simple like fitting,
Yeah.
right? I mean, just and make sure that
this
type of
doesn't
stuff doesn't
happen
happen.
Can you lose others? Like, are they all like?
Yeah,
Others
no,
could
they're
fall out?
all
Okay,
they're all shady.
but that's the only
right
one
now.
that has fallen out.
Yes, but the front one's kind of starting to feel
Oh,
loose.
no.
Yeah,
So
just got to make it to Wednesday.
is it like glued in? Is that what it's supposed to be, or just kind of tucked in?
I think they put a little glue,
Yeah, you might be just be running out of glue, partner.
but it's not like super permanent. But yeah, a little bit of glue.
Is it glue? I think that was the liquid cement
Yeah,
Oh,
that we were talking about.
yeah.
yes,
Because something has to hold it in.
Right?
yeah.
I might need to pop over there and just get him to put a little more cement up
Yeah,
in
wait,
there.
when
more,
is-
I
when's
guess
the
I need more
appointment?
cement.
Yeah, don't swallow it. You swallowed it all last time.
Spit every time.
Quitter.
Maybe he can run over here and do that on air.
On air. That's a different show. That's what video calls are for.
That's right.
Only fans takes. Remember, Daily,
John Sauce is
speaking
Spiller.
next Tuesday, I've got to remind you on this. Our NIL event that we were emceeing, that we were scheduled to MC, has been moved. It was scheduled to come to the Lod Cook Center on last Tuesday with the tornado that was coming through and the weather that was coming through. They moved that to this Tuesday coming up, March 29th. Same thing. If you had a ticket already, it's all good. It'll roll over to the event on Tuesday.
Wait, do I need a ticket?
No. Sales and Marketing Group of Baton Rouge is presenting an expert panel in discussion on name, image, and likeness. That'll be next Tuesday, March 29th. The event will be held at the Cook Hotel Conference Center. That's on Lakeshore Drive on LSU's campus. They invite all businesses, business owners, sales and marketing teams. Tickets start at $50. I'm going to be emceeing the event. The panel will include Lance Burgess, the general manager of LSU Sports Properties. That'll be my last day with the tooth, too. Hopefully I can make it through that one.
I believe you
The
make
chat
it.
is blowing up.
Taylor Jacobs, who is the NIL compliance officer over at LSU, Mackenzie Landry and Crystal Faircloth, both from Match Point Connection, and Lance Duron, who is the CMO, the chief marketing officer from Walk-Ons, is going to be on the panel. We'll be going through all the major questions, answering all the major questions and concerns, dealing with name, image, and likeness. If you want to be a part of that, tickets are still available. Stu, you have that link? We'll put that over in the YouTube chat. If you're there, click on the link there. You can pick up your ticket, $50 for the Tuesday event. An NIL expert
Tuesday.
panel discussion, pre-Tooth Day,
Pre-tooth day.
Tooth Day Eve.
Can you buy tickets at the door? Or do you have to have them?
Yes, you can walk up and buy
Okay.
tickets. You can walk up and buy tickets. I don't know if they're $50 on the walk up though.
Okay.
I do know that the pre-sale is $50. You can get a ticket. Tommy, email Katie. We'll get you a ticket.
Yes.
GG.
Tom.
Tom Graney.
Yeah, you could learn about NIL and also probably maybe see a tooth fall out.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's apparently an
Very
occurrence.
entertaining.
Just one more day, man. Just a couple of more days.
And Joe Fine in the chat said he did a dual sponsorship, get Cajun Ready Mix in there.
All right, that's right.
Just a
Paying all
little
the bills
touch of
today.
cement.
All right, some big news yesterday for LSU basketball. Some more into the transfer portal.
No.
Yeah, Brandon Murray.
No, I hate that.
The latest to enter the portal. The portal. Biggest upside from the
Yeah,
freshman class.
definitely.
Brandon Murray. Yeah.
Definitely.
I think Brandon Murray's second season in college basketball could be his last. I think that he is a guy that is going to make a tremendous jump, and a lot like we told you earlier this week. I believe we kind of called it. We said that Patrick Ewing was going after Kevin Nickelberry. Nickelberry gets the job at Georgetown, and Kevin Nickelberry is a good coach, right? He's got a good resume. He's had a couple of head coaching stops. His winning percentage not that good. Probably a lifetime assistant because he can what? Recruit? Yeah. So Kevin Nickelberry, the assistant coach to Patrick Ewing, attractive. You want him on staff. Kevin Nickelberry bringing Alex Fudge and Brandon Murray, much more attractive, right? Brandon Murray enters the portal yesterday, and I don't know anything on Fudge. I just know that Nickelberry was huge and instrumental on getting Fudge to campus. He was also big in getting Efton Reed to Baton Rouge. IMG Academy, Brandon Murray and Efton Reed were both teammates there last season. So, maybe that's not the last of the news that you'll hear from LSU basketball's roster beginning to turn over. But Brandon Murray hits the transfer portal. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at Georgetown. He is a Maryland native. As we said, he is connected to Kevin Nickelberry through recruiting. They've got a good relationship. Nickelberry accepted the Georgetown assistant job on Patrick Ewing's staff earlier this week. I'd imagine that the next news to follow would probably be that Brandon Murray announces that he's going to Georgetown. Xavier Pinson also announced his intention to transfer from LSU. So he's got a sixth season. He's got a fifth year.
I didn't know he had a kid
with
till I read
the
this.
COVID. But he put out a statement on Instagram saying that he will be considering LSU as his main priority in the process, but he will be seeking for a program who has the best plan in store for him to raise his daughter, and to the coaching staff. And he says to the coaching staff, players and fans and everybody involved in the many ups and downs here at LSU, thank you guys for everything. So it looks like Pinson and Murray on the way out. And then they had a report yesterday that Adam Miller said that he was going to transfer, but Miller squashed that rumor of the transfer portal by quote tweeting and saying that he has not made any decision as of yet. He also put out yesterday on Instagram a video of him working out, which gives you an idea of the player and the scorer that LSU would have had on their team this season if Miller would have been eligible, if he'd have been healthy. Not to say that would have done anything to the future and the status of the head coaching position, but it does give you an idea to see just what they were missing offensively with a guy like Miller and how close he is to being back after tearing up his knee in training camp, or right at the start of training camp earlier this season. So a lot of progress has been made for Miller. If I was making, kind of a future bet on Miller, I would bet that he's not at LSU. I just think that, there was too many embedded relationships with the former staff and players for that to carry over, and there's a lot of bad feelings with the way that it ended, obviously. And I think that people, that are in the program right now are looking for a fresh start, looking for a place to not necessarily start over, but just at a place that doesn't have all the baggage, no pun intended, that LSU does right now. There's, a certain curiosity of what's going to be, what's the penalties going to look like, what's the violations going to feel like, what's the limitations of the program going to be for the next couple of seasons. And I don't think it's really even fair for the players that are on roster right now to expect them to put up with that. And, as bad of a situation as LSU is in right now, I think, a lot of this is expected for a lot of these guys to find new homes.
Right. I mean, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, what about Sharif? Any rumors about him?
I've not heard anything about Sharif. I think Sharif is he's a different case when you look at him from the sense of, Sharif's, he's more here because of the nostalgia of LSU and what it means to his family,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think that probably has more to do with it than, coaching staff relationships in recruiting. Don't get me wrong, Sharif was wanted by a lot of people when he was on the market, and there were a lot of teams going after him. But LSU held a certain outlying quality that nobody else could really recruit against. You know what I mean? There was a statue of his dad outside the entrance.
It kind of helps.
Right? I mean, his dad's jersey is swinging in the rafters.
Mm-hmm.
His dad's the most famous alum, arguably in the institution's history, definitely in the basketball program's history. So, I mean, it's a little different for Sharif. I don't know what his future is going to look like, but I would think that from Matt McMahon's standpoint, is an easier pitch to a guy like Sharif than would it be to, Brandon Murray, Efton Reed, Alex Fudge on why they should stick around.
And if any of them stay, like, you can look at LSU as almost a blank slate. You'll be able to kind of name your minutes, especially if you're Sharif. Like, we were kind of calling for him to play more. We didn't know really where he fit in. But if you're the only one that stays behind and Matt McMahon is like, okay, we at least have one guy, you can work with him throughout the offseason.
Right.
Sharif's going to get, like, one of these guys that stays going to get major playing time and the ability to kind of run the offense through himself. Like, that's the one benefit to staying, I would think, is that you're still at LSU. You kind of know the lay of the land. You get to work with the coach that's already in. He's not bringing – you'd be the only person on campus, essentially, that stays behind, that's played starter, that has had time as a, a quality contributor. So that's the real pitch in my mind.
Tanner Marty, lost my front tooth at a party the first time I met my girlfriend, now my wife.
Oh.
She introduced me to all of her friends back in the day. I just had to embrace it. I like your style, Tanner.
You can't run from it.
Wait. You cannot run from it.
So
especially
he lost
a front
real
tooth.
Wait, how did it just fell out?
No, I'd imagine that it's the same thing that I'm dealing with. Some type of implant, some type of replacement. One of my friends who is he's a doctor, it was the first person that I saw have a tooth implant, and he used to kind of like, he could flick it out. You know what I mean? It was almost like a magnet.
It's like a bridge.
Yeah, it was almost like you could and it would kind of like zap itself back in. And he would freak people out at parties and bars, you know what I mean? Where you would have a conversation with him, and you turn back around, you turn back to him, he'd be toothless. He'd like smiling, he had like his two front teeth out, and then you turn back to him, and he'd be like, normal. Like,
how many beers have I had?
Yeah, right. Well, what's going on here?
It's a weird party trick. Not into it.
And I feel like that's what I'm trending towards, because my tooth kind of slides in, slides out so easily. But I can't.
Get it.
I can't make the trick.
You just got to work
what I
out.
mean?
Yeah, just
can't work the pony.
Just
Yeah,
practice,
right.
Yes.
A little off camera.
I feel like you do. Like, if that were me, I feel like I would fiddle with it a lot. It's like a loose tooth
Yes, it
almost
is.
where your tongue finds it all the time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You'll be doing that, like tying a cherry stem in a knot.
Ooh.
You got to work at it.
Can you do that?
David can do it in like 2
Hey,
seconds.
that's
Dave.
I mean, for
you,
real,
Katie.
it's crazy.
I'll marry you.
He'll put it in there and he could, and I'm like, holy crap.
That probably would impress women.
It is
It'd be
for
like,
sure.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Absolutely.
It is impressive.
Should be.
Should be.
I mean, that's a quality
all
that if
over
I
you.
had,
I would
that would
do.
be your first, you know what I mean? Ladies, how are you?
I know. I mean,
See that cherry stem real quick.
Yeah, grab it.
Right.
Got the cherry stem already.
Nice to meet you.
You like your cherries popped?
Travis LeBlanc, we should just purge the roster right now and break it up rather than the other way around. No chance, Travis. I understand your take, but that's a dumb take. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, they got to win basketball games, and you're not going to walk into your locker room and say, hey, look, we're looking to field the best team. None of y'all fit. Get the hell out of here. I mean, it's just not going to work. You're going to walk up to Adam Miller and try to make him stay. You're going to try and keep Alex Fudge. As Donnie T says, I think Fudge has a bigger upside with a good coach. Fudge, to me, is a pro. Like, Fudge is a legitimate NBA player. I mean, he may be a 3-4 year college basketball player, but at some point, somebody's going to pay him money to play. Because I think that his, like you say, Don, his upside, but just his intangibles, the things that he has, the jumping ability, the height, the length. I mean, you can teach somebody how to shoot. Or you can tell somebody to stay in the gym, 5-6 hours a day and put up 800, 1,000 shots. And at some point, you would think with the skill set of a guy like Fudge that he'd just be able to improve on that part of the game. The things that he has that you can't coach and that you can't teach is NBA worthy. So I think that the upside on Alex Fudge is tremendous. And whoever gets him, or if LSU is able to hang on to him through this process, is getting an NBA player. To me, they're getting a pro. Hughes Bowden, don't understand leaving LSU because of postseason ban to go to Georgetown, who's not going to make it to the postseason. I hear you. It's different for players. Players think that they're the ones that can get people over the top and put them in the postseason. Andrew Messina, I hear Xavier Pinson is already getting looks from Kentucky and Michigan State. They'll be high-end schools. that are going to be after Pinson for sure. We will wait and see what it looks like as far as some of the sanctions, the penalties, whatever that they could look like coming down the pipe. But right now, it looks like the mass exodus is happening for LSU basketball. More action tonight for a Sweet 16 action, as last night the field was set and got into at least half of the Elite Eight with some really good games. I expect a lot more good games this afternoon with the Sweet 16 happening. Remember, daily here, we are brought to you on the Jordy Culotta Show by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Wear the sweatshirt around town, get a lot of reaction. Wore it yesterday to lunch, and I got two people that came up to me and asked me, "What's BBW?" I said, "Well,
you have to ask.
You need to Google BBW, but what I'm wearing across my chest right here is Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. That is a tool that is standing for the P right there across my chest. You, sir, need to Google what BBW is to find out what you're looking for. Yeah, absolutely. But if you're looking for Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, there is no social media. There is no website. All it is an old school phone number that we're asking you to call to get in touch with Barker Brothers at 225-776-2431. Ooh.
Did he come out again?
The catch. 776-2431. Remember, if you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you get a 15% discount when you mention the Jordy Culotta Show to our friends over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. They are number one and a number two business, specializing in all works of plumbing, industrial, commercial, residential, and backflow. They can help you out today with all of that. 225-776-2431. 776-2431.
Backflow it's exactly what it has to be.
Is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that guy that used your downstairs bathroom and left his jacket.
Yeah.
That's backflow.
That was some backflow right there. Jeez.
Fled the scene and had to return.
All right, Stewie, Noah, Ron. Noah wasn't there. Stewie and Ron yesterday were covering practice for us. Great job, by the way. Excellent stuff in putting that stuff up. Tell me what you saw.
Well, when I got there, I was on the wrong side of the field.
Sweet, Stewie.
Me and Ron
Jordy Culotta Show.
Before we got there, I was going to take defense. He was going to take offense. They broke off. Defense was on the far side of the field, so I was like, "All right, I gotta book it to get over there."
That's how you get a scholarship.
But I'm watching offense. The starting offense, skill player wise, it didn't look at the line. Was Miles Brennan, John Emery, Jeray Jenkins, Jack Besh, Cole Taylor, and Brian Thomas was at the other receiver.
Okay.
And then whenever I got to the defensive side, I did not see who was starting. They were doing like a pursuit type drill. But I did see, like, when they got into drills, the safeties, it started off with Jordan Tolles. We have some video. Jordan Tolles, Sage Ryan, and who was that middle
Jay
guy?
Ward?
Jay Ward was with the second group, but Jay looked good. Like,
Jay Ward was with the second group.
He was just, it was his first day of practice. Right. He was kind of,
I'm not putting any stock into starters in spring.
No. But whenever they did like tackling drills and like stuff like that, you could see like Jay was the leader. Like Jay was letting guys know, like, get your weight up. Like he was hitting people. Like he was out there hitting people with no pads. Like this drill here, he's out there hitting people.
Yeah. Good looking video.
That's what I'm thinking. That's ours.
Take it.
Great weather, too.
Who's the coach here?
Great weather. Brian Polian.
Big energy guy.
Big energy guy.
Yeah, he was active.
The cone went away, and he's serving as the cone right now.
No way.
Yes.
Easy,
he is the cone.
Easy, buddy.
Oh, this is coach back.
Heads up, coach. Is that Pig?
Yeah, this is cornerbacks, I think. Yeah, it's cornerbacks.
$10 super chat from Cody Boudreaux writes in, Jordy, they're talking about you on Tiger Droppings. The big brain guys of the rant are saying that you are too close to Butte and the friendship blinds you. I took up for you in the thread because you love Dune. Thank you, Cody.
What is wrong with people?
Appreciate it, Cody.
Why do they read into everything so much?
Why do they? I mean, Jordan can have relationships. It's okay.
Yeah.
So my friendship to Kayshawn made him say that the quarterbacks weren't throwing to him, or that was Kyron. that my friendship to Kayshawn made him say, for all his 3-year guys, that it's time to get out, and people are taking that like he's saying that he has no loyalty to the program. Which, you know, I mean, like, I'm not going back and forth on stuff like that.
Did you
man.
think
I mean,
that Kayshawn was going to stay for his senior year?
Right. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
What world do you live in?
He could have left after last year.
Yeah, he still could leave. Like, he's good enough.
Yeah.
It's well, I appreciate you, Cody. Fight
Thank
that
you.
fight over there on Tiger Droppings for me, buddy. Here is more video of yesterday. Any coaches?
Kerry Cooks.
Yeah, what coaches stood out?
Kerry Cooks, he was, you know, he was really interactive, and like more so Matt House. Matt House was the most interactive. Like, he was very like detail oriented. Like, if you didn't do a drill right, he made you go again, and just he was the coach that really stood out to me.
Anything from Brian Kelly?
Brian Kelly was more with the offense.
Really?
Yeah. He said it in his presser. He's 70-30 offense defense.
What about was Walker out there?
Walker was out there. He was saying Walker's still dealing with the thumb thing.
Yeah.
Because they do a clapping cadence, and every time he would clap, he would wince at his thumb. So they started giving him like a regular voice cadence.
Anything stand out from the quarterbacks other than Miles?
They really did. It was kind of vanilla with the quarterbacks, like doing read drills, running back stuff. Like, John Emery looked good though. He looks ready. Like, he looks ready to make that jump.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, he looks like the player that they recruited.
5-star.
5-star.
It's time.
It is.
It's time, man.
The thing that stood out to me, not that I know anything, but it looked so organized. It looked
Yeah.
like like destinations were like established. They knew exactly what they're doing in drills, and I'm talking about coaching wise. Like, it just looked, from what the little glimpses we saw last year from the same footage, like that we would go capture, not the same. Like, this looks like a totally different regime, which it is, but it's like in a good way.
One of the like trainers messed up a drill with the linebackers. You could probably pull it up. It's the Matt House one. One of the trainers or the student people messed up with the ball because they were supposed to like roll him the ball after they did the drill. He messed up. Matt House was like, move out the way, put somebody else in the drill. Like, that's how serious it is. That's how detail oriented he was, and that's something that LSU was probably missing.
Everything that we've heard since Brian Kelly has been here, the biggest difference from people that have been there for 10 years to people that have been there for 3 years was the organization, was just the intent on detail. You know,
that was the
just
replacement
the attention
guy.
of detail. Where
Why are they under that
Oh,
thing?
bad roll.
To
Bad
stay
roll.
low.
Yeah, stay low.
So is there like a ceiling on it?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
they cannot
If
stand
you come up, you'll hit your head
Yeah,
on
you'll hit
a
your
piece of metal.
Yeah, and they have somebody jump on the trampoline to make it extra low.
No, they don't. Stop it, Lloyd. That was close.
She almost
For a
believed it.
second,
She
I really
almost
did.
did.
I was getting there.
Mike Jones. Mike
Panamsky,
Jones
go
was
jump on the trampoline.
Oh, don't hurt yourself. Oh, wait.
Mike Jones was the leader of the linebackers, though.
Nice.
Like, Mike Jones.
I was kidding.
And I went back.
You did.
Jeffrey Bone. God, I hate LSU fans on Tiger Droppings. You're probably there though, Jeff, huh? I mean, we all surf it.
It's like porn.
We all
like,
lurk.
Yeah,
We
you
all-
can say what you want. Everybody looks at it.
We're either lurking or
In it.
yeah, right, interacting. All right, Daily, we're brought to you. That was an old man.
It really was.
All right, Daily, we're brought to you by City Cafe. Remember, get over to City Cafe. They got lunch specials every day,
if that was
including
good or
this
bad.
Friday. I don't know if it was either. Including brunch on Sundays. Brunch on Sundays by our friends over at City Cafe. CityCafeBR.net. O'Neill and George O'Neill is where they're located. Have been in business for over 100 years. Go see Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk, and the crew over at City Cafe. O'Neill and George O'Neill, where good friends meet. Great online, great website, citycafebr.net. All right, we're going to talk to Nathan Velasquez coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Get the latest on Hollywood from Nate. Jordan Faircloth, who is running for a local judge seat here in town. Also, a fellow ancient athlete and a former LSU baseball player. So we'll get the latest on LSU baseball as we will talk to Faircloth coming up here. Get his thoughts on LSU dropping in the midweek, what he thinks about first-year head coach Jay Johnson, and what it's been like out on the campaign trail here for his possible seat at judge. All right, Tyrann Matthews coming back in town next week. coming back to Baton Rouge. And then Mel Kiper was defending Derek Stingley Jr. I think Stingley's caught in a bad rap here going through the pre-draft process, whether it has been people talking about his inability to stay on the field, his passion for the game of football, whether or not his dad is a helicopter dad. That has been talked about a couple of times through his pre-draft process. But Mel Kiper Jr. yesterday was on with Matt Miller and was calling Derek Stingley Jr. A wild card. Here was his quote yesterday talking to Matt Miller. He said, "So I think he's a wild card in this class of where he's going to fall, because if you get 2019, you got an elite corner. If you don't, that's where the question marks pop up. It's going to be a heck of a battle," Kiper stated regarding Gardner and Stingley on who's going to be the top cornerback chosen off the board. It'll be between Derek Stingley Jr. and Cincinnati's Sauce Gardner. He said about Stingley, "I thought he could have been the number 1 pick in the draft after the 2019 season. But obviously COVID, then the injury affected him, and Sauce Gardner's out there too and playing great football. Lockdown corner, intercepting passes with great ball skills, tremendous length. So that's why I give the edge to Gardner, although I rate Stingley slightly ahead of him." Which, Mel, who's it going to be?
Pick one.
You've only got one rose.
You can't have your pumpkin pie and eat it too.
What's the deal, man? You've got both of them standing side by side, and one of them thinks that you're going to choose them. Who's the name? You got one rose. Who's it going to be? She's hot, but I think she's hotter. What? I mean,
she's a girlfriend. That's a wife.
Yeah, I mean, so what's it going to be here?
You can't have both.
Obviously, we are biased. Obviously, we believe that Stingley is going to be an elite cornerback once he gets to his chosen team. I think that there has been so much chatter and so much negativity around Stingley, and some of that produced by himself, some of that he has to blame himself for, some of this stuff popping up. But I have always been steadfast in thinking that as soon as they lace him up and they get into a testing format and he is 100% healthy, that the comparison between him and anybody at that position is really going to be a race for second place for the opposition, just because his technical ability to play that spot is so refined and so over the top good that you'll not be able to discount that, especially from that. This is my opinion. But from a coaching standpoint and at the NFL level, they're so meticulous about fundamentals and technique that when you see how advanced his technical skill is at playing that position, I mean, think about the times that he would, and a lot of this is going back to his freshman season, because that was, when we saw him play the most football and the most consistent football, and that's really who he is. That's the player that he is. And just think of the technical aspect of his game that we saw so many times, whether it was just gliding or riding wide receivers out of bounds on deep routes because he knew how to kind of push them with his body without touching them. The plays that he made on the ball a couple of times his freshman season, the play he made against George Pickens and Georgia in the SEC championship game, the play he made against Auburn after he had fumbled the punt where he had, did kind of like a 180 with his body while the ball was in the air and he loses sight of the ball. He's able to retract the ball and catch it and toe tap 2 toes to stay in bounds. And, in an SEC football game that was, really competitive. That Auburn LSU game was that was a heavyweight fight in 2019. That's about as tough a shot as Burrow took all season on the sideline in that Auburn game. That was a big game. And Stingley out there making plays. Florida and Van Jefferson ate his lunch in the first half. He stayed in the game and was able to compete into the second half and ultimately was able to make a key play in that game with an interception to give the ball back to Burrow, and that's when he hits Chase for the game-winning touchdown. He was making plays consistently all through the things like that you can go and watch. But even the stuff that you turn on the film and the ball's nowhere near him, and the technique that he plays the cornerback position with is so advanced and so well refined at this point in his career that if you can get that skill level with that technical application and he's only 21. Now, through the interview process, I think you find out whether he loves football or not. Right? And I think, that's a lot of concern for people who are chosen within the top 10 of the NFL draft just because it's generational money. Your life's about to change. You're about to be guaranteed $25 million. So before we give you this check and invest this type of capital into you, do you love your profession? Once this money hits your account, will you be more worried about getting to Vegas or getting to South Beach or getting into the gym and coming to the facility on time? And it's fair. There were concerns like that around Leonard Fournette when he was coming out. Fournette turned those to be true his first part of his career, where people were wondering, does this guy really love it? And once he had that humility where, he was traded, signed a 1-year deal, he look around, Alvin Kamara's getting paid, Christian McCaffrey's getting paid. That's his draft class. Where's his money? I mean, Leonard, it's an accountability job, man. I mean, if you were there, you were doing the time, and you were making the plays, you'll get your money. And he wisened up, learned, and kind of fell back in love with the game. And here he is signing a 3-year deal, $21 million, all of it guaranteed, I believe I saw. After he made his rookie deal where he got, $25 million as the 4th pick in the draft. So, I mean, that's Leonard walk away playing football making nearly $50 million. That's a hell of an investment for somebody that you really question within the middle of his career. Does he even like football? Does he love football anymore?
Or is he just good at it?
Yeah, or is he just dominant at it? And I think that there's a lot of those types of players in the league.
Absolutely.
Where you just have to get up and go to Sunday because I'm just so good at this, but I don't really like it. How many times can you be celebrated and cheered for? I mean, once you go through that high and you experience it, it's a tough one to chase. It's a tough one to recapture every week. And I think those questions around Stingley are fair. I do.
I don't think he's a partier, though.
No, he's not a partier.
Like Vegas
and
probably doesn't interest
I wouldn't
him.
be worried about giving him the money.
Me either.
But I would be worried about giving him the money and wondering, do you like what you do?
Right.
And
I think his athleticism and the way that he plays the game is almost to a detriment because he makes it look so easy it looks like, I don't even know if he cares. But it comes so easy, and he's been working at it his entire life. That's why he's as good as he is, because his dad was in professional football. His dad coached him since he was... Grandfather was a dominant professional player until he got injured. And that's some of the, when people say, helicopter dad, that has to be in the back of his dad's head. He wants to protect his son because he saw it happen to his dad.
Sure, absolutely.
That's
so that's his kid.
No doubt about it.
And so he wants to protect him. But the way that Stingley plays and the ease at probably the second hardest position in football, I mean, it's almost, like I said, to a detriment that he's that good at it. And so it makes people kind of wonder, is he in love with it? It's like, obviously, you wouldn't work that hard at it if you didn't want to be good at it. Didn't want to play it. Right. That's the reason he's good.
Where will Derek Stingley land in the draft is the poll question here that's up in the first hour. Compliments of our friends over at Southern Eye Center. 25% off of their sunglasses selection over there on Jefferson Highway when you walk in and mention that you heard it on the Jordy Culotta Show. But a couple of options for you on our poll question. Make sure you get in there and vote. Let me get to some of the comments here as we talk about Stingley here on this as we close out the first hour. John Delaunay, Stingley is really technical, but he's also extremely rigid and lacks break on the ball instincts of a guy like Greedy. Look, there is concern on his ability because if you think about it, he didn't intercept a lot of passes where the best play on the ball I can remember him play was the Georgia game against George Pickens, where he just read that. In fact, his first interception may be more impressive than the one in the second half where he almost housed where he catches with one arm because he's riding the guy out of bounds, and just technically, it's
perfect,
flawless. It is the piece of film that you watch cornerback and you say, you cannot play the position any better. In fact, those guys like Duvernay, that he was covering his second collegiate game at Texas, I mean, that's where people were like, holy shit, he's for real. I mean, that play on the side, he intercepted that ball, first and foremost. But, I mean, like, the plays that he was making that night against pro wide receivers, I mean, those guys are playing in the league, was really kind of his, okay, he's legit. He's as good as advertised. So I think and it's not hard to find what type of player he is. It's easy to question the last 2 years, but I think if you dig in and really realize how screwed up LSU football was, and I think even people now could tell you, and like Brian Polian said here last Friday, nobody walks around that building saying that they got to clean up a mess or what was happening. Nobody's doing that. But there is somebody at some level saying, that place was a mess.
Yeah, it was Scott Woodward. I got to change this now. Walked into it. I thought this was a coach's office. This is a fraternity house.
And your best player is going to be affected by that. The best player on your roster that's concerned about his draft future, concerned about what that is going to look like, playing in that type of program that just is a circus, is going to be affected. Good, bad, or indifferent. And Stingley's last 2 years, you'd probably like a redo. But you've got 2019. You've got a little shades of what it was the last 2 years. And now you're getting back right, healthy, and motivated. To me, it's not even a comparison on who the best cornerback is in the draft. You want to dive in and do the interviews and do all the stuff and learn all the mental stuff and all, fine. But physically, it's not close. And when it comes to technical stuff, he's better than some of the 5-6 year veterans in the league. I mean, I've seen him working out at Traction. I mean, there's NFL cornerbacks working out with Ryan Clark at Traction, and Stingley's in the group. And from a technical standpoint, they're all watching him. I mean, the pros are like taking notes on this 19-year-old. And Ryan Clark, who was in the league for a dozen years, won a Super Bowl, has a lot of clout within people that are in that profession, is like, watch. This is how you do it. And I see how much stock those guys put in their technique when you get to that level. When Stingley's in high school, when Stingley's even in college, he can kind of toy with you. You know what I mean? He didn't have to stay technically sound every single play. At an NFL level, if you're not technically sound every play, you'll get whooped. And if you get whooped, you don't have a job. So those guys understand the importance of technique, and Ryan Clark is, 2 inches taller than me and weighs 15 more pounds than I do, 20 more pounds than I do. What I'm trying to say is he got no business playing 12 years in the league. The reason why he did is because he's a technical wizard. And he knew how to keep his body safe. So all these guys flocked to Ryan Clark in the offseason to learn how to say, hey, man, make me fundamentally sound. Extend my career 4 or 5 years. Let me get that second contract. Let me get that third contract that's not as much as my first and second one, but just applies more security to my life. And they're all down here looking at Stingley. And I just think when it gets to this level, where everybody's great, you know what I mean? The guy that you say sucks is still great. And, you take a play off, the guy that you think sucks is going by you because technically you took the play off. Go Pokes, getting hurt, tripping over the first down marker. That's going to be a low point. That'll be a low point for sure. Nick Richard, he may play as good as his team. Most first-round guys won't be on a good team. It's true.
But he's an honors kid in regular classes, is what it feels like. It's so, like I said, it's so easy for him that he could take plays off, but when he gets to the league, there's going to be matchups where he's like, all right, I have to be locked in or else. I mean, his name carries a lot of clout wherever he goes, like even in the draft. Like everybody knows who Derek Stingley was or is because of the legacy that he made before him. Like he was a phenom coming out of high school, like in high school. So these guys, they know that.
Right.
And so whenever he steps on the field, they're trying to go at him every single play. And that's whenever he gets in the league, he's not going to want his name tarnished or the Stingley name tarnished. He's going to want to go in there and ball. Like I have little to no reservation about drafting Derek Stingley.
I don't either.
I think he's going to be the steal of the draft.
Me too.
Oilfield Trash 12 says, how do we know how refined he is? He hasn't played in almost 2 seasons. He doesn't want to play. He wouldn't even go to the home games and support his team.
I don't know all that. He had surgery in the middle of the season. He was rehabbing a foot to get prepared for the NFL draft.
He was going to the NFL. Like the team stunk. I would imagine that he didn't have a lot of relationships with Coach O or how they were running things because he's seen it. It was like, this is not the way it's supposed to be done. Just because, like I said, of his family. Like they're like, I've been in professional locker rooms. This is not good.
Yeah.
And so he's like, dude, get out. And so he took the chance to get healthy and get out and go play professional football. Like, it makes sense. It just stinks if you love LSU.
I think he's going to answer a lot of questions about his sophomore season in the pre-draft process. I think Stingley is going to have to answer some real questions of just, what happened, bro? Like, what happened that night before the opener? What happened in that Mississippi State game? And he can't tell people he had a panic attack. He's going to have to know, he's going to have to tell people the real answer on it because they already know what it is. So he's going to have to answer questions about that. He's going to have to answer questions about the Devontae Smith matchup when he came back to play that season. When, Devontae really won the Heisman Trophy that night. And, he looked a little checked out or a step slow. Maybe not healthy. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. But that night was not a good night for Derek Stingley's draft tape. But you have to know that at some point, when you're on college campus for 3 years, even if you don't play as much as he did, one night, you're going to get it. I mean, that first half of that Florida game, his freshman season, it had probably been since that's probably never happened to him in his life.
Since they brought an NFL receiver to high school.
Exactly. I mean, that's probably never happened to him in his life. So there was an adjustment of, holy shit, these guys can play with me. Or I got to go all in every play to keep up. And I think you learned something about Stingley that night. I mean, yeah, that pass by Trask in the end zone that he picked off was bad, but Stingley staying in that game and competing. I mean, he had to guard Kyle Pitts, Van Jefferson. Those guys are like really good pros. He was 18 at the time. I'm not making excuses for him.
No, but that adjustment he made in that interception is like, that's why Kyle Trask had to fit that ball in because the play he made is unbelievable. Like for him, the ball skills are there. Like that's, put it on the highlight tape. It goes unnoticed just because of how easy he makes things look in the moment of the game, how big it was that they're like, oh, you're just happy you got the ball back. But when you go look at the play, like it's unbelievable how he like got his body turned, got his hip turned, and found the football. I think he's got everything that you look for in a corner. There's some off the field stuff. But other than that, like those are boxes you can check in the pre-draft process. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. And once you get him into a testing environment, we'll see, man.
That's gonna be must-watch TV.
Judo 4, y'all are glorifying a terrible teammate. Sarah Almada, Ben Simmons. Come on, Sarah. Come on.
He can dunk too.
Max Allen said Derek Stingley is the most overrated DB we've ever had. Dude didn't do anything in 2020 and crawfished out of 2021.
He's going to have to answer some questions for 2020.
I don't really disagree with that.
Most overrated ever?
I mean, that's
a strong take.
That's strong. That is strong, man. Most overrated ever. I'm trying to think who is the most overrated ever because it sure as hell ain't Derek Stingley Jr.
Who is it?
I don't want to call anybody out.
Why, is it somebody that's presently playing?
No, I don't think so. Danny McRae.
Okay.
It's the first one that comes to my mind. But I like you, Danny. I've just got torched at Florida.
But wait, was he a 4 or 5 star guy?
No, but he was just on the field forever.
I mean, that's not his fault.
Yeah.
I mean, like Demetrius Hookfin back in the day. He got abused. But I mean, they just didn't have.
Maybe like Craig Loston. Craig
Maybe
Loston.
Oh, Papa
Loston.
Craig.
He was good.
Five-star.
He was good, but he played for like
five-star.
6 years.
Hell yeah.
He was at LSU for like 6 years.
You slander Craig.
I like him though. Like I
Yeah.
loved it. Loved the swag and everything.
Al Woods?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Al Woods?
Yeah.
Even though, but I mean, look up, and Al Woods is a what? He's a 14-year NFL veteran.
Yeah.
Are
I
we
think
just
he's-
talking about players or DBs?
But I mean, he was a 5-star.
Yeah,
You know, he
no.
came in here, you thought he was going
Most
to be good.
overrated as the he played defensive tackle. They moved him to offensive
Chris.
tackle. He goes to Tulane.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Asim. Who is
Me
that?
too.
Faircloth. Who is that? The 5-star offensive lineman that transferred, went to Chris.
He broke my collarbone.
Damn, he had a huge.
Somebody's gonna get it in the chat.
Yeah, somebody will get it. All right, when we come back, Jordan Faircloth, who is
Johnny
a
G, don't
Chris
slander him.
Davenport.
Chris Davenport.
Chris Davenport. When we come back, Jordan Faircloth is running for local judge here in East Baton Rouge. We'll catch up to him on the campaign trail as we will talk to him what that has been like. Also, LSU Baseball, as he is a former LSU Baseball player. We will ask him about Jay Johnson's first season, what some of the thoughts is around the Tigers and where they are going into this weekend versus Florida. For another SEC series. Come back with us. Jordy Culotta Show. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. It's Foodie Friday. The Iverstein's Butcher Shop has provided all of our food for the cooking couple who will be in to the studio at some point feeding all of us this morning, so stick around. We will also talk to Nathan Velasquez coming up here. But next, we will talk to Judge Jordan Faircloth. Next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. That is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. Eyes Centers, where their passion is caring for eyes. It's what they do. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been offering the Capital Region a friendly, helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. Stop in and see their brand new office on Jefferson Highway today, where you can find them at 6859 Jefferson Highway. They also are the daily poll sponsor on the Culotta Show. And remember, if you go into Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you will receive 25% off of their fantastic sunglasses selection over at Southern Eye Center. Check out Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center, the daily poll sponsor of the Jordy Culotta Show.
This isn't the same spot, the original.
No, bro. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Appreciate all the interaction in the first hour. We will have our cooking segment for the Foodie Friday with Iverstein's coming up here at 8:45 this morning. We'll talk Hollywood with Nathan Velasquez at 8:30. Appreciate you being here on this Friday morning. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button, as we appreciate that interaction. Jordan Faircloth is a good friend of mine. We met through Ancient Athletes. We actually met through college when he was playing for LSU. Went on to be a stud Ancient Athlete, great team captain, good quarterback, sneaky good quarterback.
Not the most overrated Ancient Athlete?
Not at all. I think he went on a little run where he was the number one pick.
Ooh.
Yeah. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's,
Yeah.
Humble.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Once the lights went on.
a couple times.
Remember when I was the number one pick? Yeah, we all remember.
2 pops in.
Hopefully tomorrow. Remember when I won Judge, bro? Huge day tomorrow as district court judge. You were going for it. You've been running. And tomorrow is election day. I guess what is this? A lot of people in town know you. I don't. We go a lot of places and we've seen together. You know, a lot of people know who Jordan is. So I don't imagine that this has kind of been in your wheelhouse. But stepping into the political arena for the last couple of months and I guess over a year, what's it been like?
It's been crazy to say the least. Educational, exhilarating, anxiety-inducing, the whole 9 yards. Just, I've never run for anything, any office ever in my life other than, I guess, student council or something like that. That's completely different, obviously. Sure. So,
Did you win?
I did. Seventh grade class president.
There you go,
Xavier Pinson in Alexandria. There we go.
Pride of Menard. Here.
But yeah, it's been crazy, and you know, Judge Morvan, who retired at the end of last year, opened up the seat, and he did that. Gosh, November. So it's been a quick.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, whole thought process. I had to make the decision fairly quickly. You know, I gave it a lot of thought and prayer and all that, and made the decision. And you know, once I made the decision, somebody told me it's like jumping out of an airplane. You got to be all in.
Yeah.
If you're not all in,
Right. Too late.
don't do it.
Yeah,
So
right.
I've been all in ever since, and I tell folks I understand why people who are in politics stay in politics, because the adrenaline, it's always something to do, always on. There's never a dull moment.
Sure.
And on the flip side, I understand why people would never want to get into politics, because you can't just say,
Not today.
I ain't doing nothing today or this weekend or this week. Don't call me. I'm gone fishing, as they say. So I've understood both sides of it, but being in the mix, so to speak, has been, it's been a cool experience.
I am a proud South Louisiana native from Baton Rouge. I love my city. I love growing up here. I love being here now. I've been very disappointed in my city the last, I feel like, decade. What spurred you to take this challenge on? Because even from my seat, I love the play. I would be scared to jump into the possibility of trying to create change just because I don't know if I could do that. What was it for you that said, you know what, I'm doing this?
That's absolutely right. Two main reasons. One, from a practicing attorney's perspective of, how important having a good, competent judiciary is. Mm-hmm. And, the basic things of preparation, starting court on time, things like that as a practicing litigator is so important, and it's not always there. So that frustration level has been there, and instead of complaining about it and not doing anything about it, it's the old, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and
Absolutely.
I'm going to run. But as a more personal and general perspective, is, I've been here in Baton Rouge ever since college, 22 plus years. Met my wife here. We got married here. Parishioners at St. George Church here. This is where I practice. This is where I live, where I'm raising my family. This is my home. And I want the best for the city, the parish, and beyond.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who's going to be a Stefanski and run for the legislature or run for governor or mayor. That's just not something I think in my wheelhouse. So running for judge is my avenue, so to speak, of trying to affect change and push our city, parish in the right direction. And it's, you hear that, you're like, well, what can a judge do? I mean, because it's not the mayor, it's not the the legislature. Yeah. But as we see,
it's a part of the wheel.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
And there's a crucial role to play with the judiciary, and that's what I've been called to do. So, like I said, when I made the decision, I'm all in. I care enough to want to do something about it. I've never been one to just moan and groan from the sidelines, so to speak. I'm going to get in the game and throw my hat in the ring and see what shakes out.
Thank you for that. because for somebody who cares about the city, I think it takes a lot of it takes some guts to step up and try and create that change. Polls open tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Polls open as Jordan Faircloth will be on the ballot as a district court judge. Make sure and get out and vote tomorrow in our city. Our city deserves it. Jordan is running for district judge. And cast your vote. I saw stickers everywhere. We were at the wearing of the green last Saturday for St. Patrick's Day, and saw Jordan very well represented. In fact, his wife Crystal is a mass marketer. She does such a great job. We'll have an event with her on Tuesday on campus discussing NIL as she's over at Match Point. We love sports. Obviously, you and I both a part of the Ancient Athletes Society. And we always are talking sports when we were in there. What do you think of Jay Johnson and LSU Baseball here as they've struggled out the gate a little bit to kind of catch their feet under their first-year head coach? They'll go to Gainesville this weekend. What have you made of their run up to this point?
I think expected. I know everybody wants to think with a new coach, you have all these big name, all preseason All-Americans, all of that you're not going to lose a game. But having been in it, although it was 20-plus years ago, it's baseball. You're going to lose games. There's going to be rough patches. It's just part of it. I remember back when I played, we got swept by, I think, Kansas or Kansas State, one of those Big 12 schools that, you don't even know they had a baseball program.
Sure.
And, of course, the fan base, everybody is, oh, my goodness, what's going on? The team's bad. The team's terrible, which is great because not every college has a fan base who cares enough and is passionate enough. But that's when the players – the coaches step back and say, guys, we're good. Look at our roster. Heck, look at the statistics. They're going to bear out that we're going to be a good team. Now, how far you go in making the postseason, who knows? But this isn't going to be a team who's going to finish 500 and be the laughing stock of the league.
Sure.
They're going to be fine. They're going to go on a run. It's always going to happen. Heck, it may happen this weekend. Start a little run of a winning streak. It's baseball. What I've seen and heard from Jay, Coach Johnson, he's saying and doing all the right things. You got to give him time. Don't hit the panic button.
I agree with that, and I don't think that people understand. And look, by no means am I saying that people don't understand. But the LSU head coaching baseball job is such a monster of a position, and I believe that everybody gets that, but I don't know if you get it until you get in it. And for somebody like Johnson, who has no understanding of it, just a kind of a view from outside that just kind of looks at it and says, "Wow, look at that palace of LSU baseball and how cool it would be the king of that place." Once you sit on the throne and you say, "Man, they give a damn about this stuff." Like they care. They care about this
Tuesday night against Nichols. They're mad the next day. The newspaper.
They're putting a short list together after my third loss.
Yeah.
But you can speak to that, just kind of seeing the inside of the monster and what it takes to feed the beast.
Absolutely. And Jay, coming from Arizona and a West Coast guy, it's different. It's more laid back, relaxed in terms of just the living, obviously. Sure. The fan base, the schools, the way they play baseball, it's just different. Getting here to LSU, the SEC, is a pressure cooker. It's completely different. And to a man, he'd probably tell you the same thing. That,
sure.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I prepared. I try to mentally grasp everything, but till you're in there, you're like, goodness gracious. Right. We lose 2 out of 3 to A&M last weekend, and A&M's supposed to be a good team. They are a good team. They got a great program. They got a Hall of Fame coach. And we lose 2 or 3, barely win on Sunday, and I'm already thinking, whoa now.
Yeah, right.
Whoa now.
Come home to house for sale in my yard. Yeah,
absolutely.
I believe he's the guy. I believe he's the right guy. How do you feel about Brian Kelly?
A lot. Like him a lot. Yeah. And every time I hear him in his interview yesterday, previously, everything he's done, I like him more. And, how does that translate onto the field? We don't know. But my guess is, what he did at Notre Dame with the, limitations he had in terms of who he could recruit and who could be eligible to play, get into school. I think, gosh, sky's the limit is a cliche.
Sure.
But I see big things. This year, I know we all want to have a big season, but you got to kind of temper your expectations with year one. who's your quarterback going to be, all the other questions, issues. But I see the next, gosh, I hate to make a stand or a statement here, but next 3 to 5 years, there's going to be some celebrating at the end of the year.
I agree. I think that, this was the right guy at the right time for LSU football. And I think the more you talk to people and even see things like yesterday of the organization of his practice, the expectations that he's placing on the program, on the early parts of it. I even thought that his quotes and comments on Keyshawn Butte were very telling. You know, like that. Like, he understands who Keyshawn is in the grand scheme of LSU football. He understands what he means probably to the SEC and in college football as a whole as far as a player goes. But in year one of a 10-year contract on Keyshawn's supposed last year on campus, it's easy to make an example and easy to set the standard on a guy like that pretty quickly. And, you know, I mean, for you know how we feel about Keyshawn, you know the relationship we have with him, but I think that that was a breath of fresh air to see that, look, we love Keyshawn. We want him to be around, but he's got to re-engage and he's got to be Keyshawn. Yep. And I think that, you know, coming from Brian Kelly to see that early on it's a telling sign of where the program can go.
It may be too strong of a statement, but hearing Brian Kelly and his press conferences and everything he said, it's almost like we have an adult in the room.
Yeah, it really does. It really does feel like that. It does feel like, and it kind of brings to light the last 20 years of how just of what you've been juggling.
You don't know what you don't know until you're like, whoa.
You know what I mean?
So that's what it's like?
Holy cow.
And they still won.
Yeah, it is. It really, and that's what makes you feel so secure is that
you
finally got a taskmaster who knows how to win, and he's going to run it like a business.
That's exactly right.
So what is the next 24 hours like for you?
Well, I'll be knocking on a lot of doors,
Really?
the remaining doors today.
Wow.
You know, I've knocked on, more doors than I can count all over. Any neighborhood, I probably hit it up at some point, just because I was told and I've learned how important it is when people actually interact with you.
Sure.
People tell me, man, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, what a lost art, too.
I mean, I appreciate you just dropping by and saying hello. That means a lot to me. Maybe that's the difference in voting for me.
Sure. It is.
So I'll be doing that this afternoon and kind of fine-tuning tomorrow, because tomorrow I'll be texting and calling everybody in sight. You're probably one of them. Just say, hey, today's the day. I know it's a pain in the rear to get out and go do this when there's a lot going on in town tomorrow. But take 5 minutes. Go. It's the only thing on the ballot. Vote. And on top of that, I'll be waving signs, you know, at various locations. Just
Boots on the ground.
you know, I'll be doing it until sundown, until the clock strikes midnight, so to speak, and then I'll put myself in front of a television and we'll see what happens.
You've gained a lot of voters in our chat already.
You've
People
seen,
are already like, I'm voting for this guy tomorrow.
We have
Well, I
seen
appreciate
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know you got mine, bro.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I've
same.
learned that everything counts. Everything.
It does.
Yeah.
Everything counts.
Good. Look, man, a great friend, somebody that I have known for a long time, and as we said, gone through Ancient Athletes together and played a lot of competitive sports and built up a good relationship. And to see him taking on this challenge is a cool moment for not only a lot of our Ancient Athletes brothers, but a lot of your friends that are out there going through this deal with you. So best of luck to you, Crystal, and the family over the next 24 hours. I know that it'll be a crazy time. I know this campaign will be crazy to kind of sit back and think on one day, just the whirlwind your life has gone through over the last couple of months. But go get it, bro. Proud of you, man. Thank you for stopping by this morning, and we'll be paying attention tomorrow to the outcome for sure.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Jordan Faircloth, District Court Judge. He's running for it. He'll be on your ballot tomorrow. Make the vote. Polls open 7 a.m. Do it for our city. There's a lot of elections on the ballot. What you got?
I was going to say, just for clarification, you can just go online to the voter app to the Secretary of State just to confirm, hey, I'm in the voting district and where I vote. Because a lot of people are like, I don't even know where I vote. It's like it's all online. It's so simple and easy. Boom, boom, boom. There you go.
Brian Burgess, if I can, I'll vote for Mr. Faircloth.
There we go.
There you go, man. Make the vote. There's Jordan Faircloth. Stick around, man. We got some food in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
And we will talk to Nathan Velasquez coming up here. We will also have the cooking couple for our Foodie Friday segment. We'll get you ready for another round of games for the Sweet 16. They were fantastic last night. We'll preview some of the tip-offs this afternoon coming up here as the Jordy Culotta Show rolls on. Compliments driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Southern Eyes Centers, where their passion is caring for eyes. It's what they do. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been offering the Capital Region a friendly, helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. Stop in and see their brand new office on Jefferson Highway today, where you can find them at 6859 Jefferson Highway. They also are the daily poll sponsor on the Culotta Show. And remember, if you go into Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you will receive 25% off of their fantastic sunglasses selection over at Southern Eye Center. Check out Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center, the daily poll sponsor of the Jordy Culotta Show. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Little peek into the kitchen there is the cooking couple. Little steak and frites.
Smells so good.
Butter.com.
Look at that butter.
Butter.
And that sauce, whatever that
Look at
is.
that Himalayan salt back there. A little pink Himalayan salt for those that don't know.
Is that rosemary?
A little
It is
thyme.
rosemary.
Thyme? Is that what smells good, or is that steak and that
That
butter?
steak and
It's
that
that
fat.
butter that I
butter.
smell.
Baste it. Baste away. Hot spoon.
Foodie Friday looks good.
Oh, picture of a picture.
a little pickle
Inception.
I mean, look at that meat. That's a cut of meat right there.
Big
About a
old
nickel.
slab of meat. Yeah, right. Uptuck, for God's sakes. Devastating story out of the
Can't pull over any
NFL,
further.
man. Jesus, this story pisses me off. Former LSU linebacker Damone Clark is undergoing spinal fusion surgery. That happened yesterday for a herniated disc that was broken by NFL reporter Tom Pelissero. Injury was discovered at an MRI in the combine. One of the top linebackers in this year's NFL draft, Clark will most likely miss his entire rookie season, but is expected to make a full recovery. So not devastating news of Clark, not having the opportunity to play football again, but for that news to break right now in his football career is pretty devastating in itself, because Clark feels like a guy that was flying up draft boards over the last couple of weeks and months. Hopefully that was going to pan out for him after an LSU Pro Day workout and then into the April draft. But Now the news is that he's got to have emergency surgery on a herniated disc that could
Spinal
possibly
fusion?
keep him out of his entire rookie season. Most probably will keep him out of his entire rookie season. Yes, spinal fusion surgery, which went down yesterday. I mean, it was immediate. So
I wonder how long he's
Clark,
had that issue. If he
know.
got it checked out, he's probably just in pain all year. Because I mean, he was thumping people all year. Like I'd imagine it came from playing football, and so I'd imagine he's played with it for at least some part of this year.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, so that's the same. If it's the same surgery Tiger had, that spinal fusion,
not
that's
good.
not good.
no.
Yeah.
That
I
stinks.
hate that for Damone Clark, man. I really felt like this was about to be his.
He deserves it.
He does. He absolutely deserves it. I mean, whether it was getting snubbed for the Butkus, getting snubbed for some first-team All-Americans honors, or this part of the process, man, that is I hate that for Damone Clark, and hopefully he can make a full recovery. Hopefully somebody sees the potential and will bring him in, whether it's through the draft or just give him an opportunity with one team, and that way when he gets healthy, he can step out there and make a difference, because it's pretty shitty to see that happen to not only just a really great football player, but a great dude, man. I mean, Damone Clark is a great representative of Baton Rouge, Southern Lab, LSU, and the state of Louisiana. And for him to go through this at this part of his professional life just sucks. Sucks, man. So we're thinking about Damone Clark. Hopefully he can make a full recovery. Hopefully he can get right. And hopefully he can land on a team so this part of his life just all works out, man. This is such an exciting time for a young athlete to be, have this opportunity to make a living doing something what you love. And then, he's in the part of the process where he's going to find out where that could potentially be. And, for this devastating news to hit at this time, just is, it sucks. But, look, everything is, and I'd imagine that Clark is kind of looking at it as his next challenge. And if he can make the full recovery like doctor says he can, I'd imagine him to be back at some point in playing football.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine with the surgery, he'll come back stronger. It's like any surgery, I'd imagine. It's just such a brutal place to have it for the position he plays, and he'll have to rehab the hell out of it. But it's better to happen now as he's young, and he'll be able to possibly get back on the field. You just hope somebody takes a flyer on him, because if you can get him late in the draft, that would be a hell of a steal if he's able to come back even close to 100% and play football, because he was going to be, would you say, top 3 rounds?
Oh, for sure.
Drafted?
I think top 3 rounds for sure. And I think that he was turning heads. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And he never did he do the entire combine, or did he hold some things back for pro day?
I'm not sure what he did all in all, but I know whatever he did do at the pro con, I mean, his name started to pop.
Right.
After that event. So get well, Damone, and get right, bro. Mac Markway, 4-star tight end out of St. Louis, pledged his commitment to LSU yesterday.
Oh.
We won't talk a lot about this type of all-season recruiting, but when you can pick up a tight end like Markway would probably start for LSU this season. And I'm not talking about because I know what type of player he is. I'm just saying because he's a tight end.
Yeah, they're desperate for
they just don't
bodies.
have anybody at that spot. So
He looks like Brian Kelly.
he does. He looks like Notre Dame.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like Notre Dame football. He actually looks like Iowa football.
Yeah, I mean, these are good tight ends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you put him up there?
Yeah.
Can you see him?
Markway chose LSU over Ohio State, Miami, Iowa, and Notre Dame.
Oh, no way. He probably fit the bill.
4-star tight end from St. Louis, 6'4", 250 pounds, from DeSmet High. They have the former DeSmet High School head coach on staff, and Robert Steeples is the former head coach of that program. Look at this guy.
He is not messing
Look
around.
at this guy.
Jeez.
Look at the guns on this cat, bro.
He works out.
He
You
definitely
think?
works out.
Must work out.
What's your bench?
Man.
Noah,
Good
did you
Lord.
get a scholarship?
I know, Noah. Y'all kind of look
Yeah,
alike
look
in the
alike.
body. In the body.
In the body.
Noah's a little jelly.
These
I don't know. I think side by
fake.
side, Noah can, compete with that. I don't
Could he
think
guard him? 6'4", 250.
No.
No, he cannot.
Sorry, Noah.
Yeah, right.
Why does he have a mask on, like half his face? What is
I don't
this?
know, Katie. Shit. You want to go down there?
Down where?
Down that rabbit hole. You perv.
Mark Way visited LSU 2 weeks ago. His dad played for Iowa.
Oh, Spurs.
Wow.
I mean, don't tell me this doesn't look like Iowa football, this guy.
Steeple's doing work, man. He does. He feels like Iowa football. All right, let's talk to Nathan here. Remember Daily, Steel Henry, Hargrove Roofing. If you've had your was your roof damaged in the weather that came through earlier this week, anywhere in South Louisiana, anywhere in this listening area that you check this out, if your roof needs repair, get in touch with Hargrove Roofing's own Steel Henry. 318-229-7266. 318-229-7266 is the phone number. Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof. Steel Henry, that goes directly to him. Get in touch with him today about how he can help you get your roof right. When we come back, we'll talk to Nathan Velasquez. Hollywood Minute coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online, moralesrolloffs.com.
Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by Hebert's Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, Hebert's Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. Hebert's can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. Hebert's Lawn Maintenance.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show. Things looking good in the kitchen as the cooking couple getting us ready here for a Foodie Friday. Compliments of our people over at Iverstein's. Remember, get over to Iverstein's on Perkins Road to pick up your selections of meats for the weekend. If you're looking to cook, tailgate, anything, you're going to the ballpark, going around Baton Rouge, you're heading out to the Little League Park, make sure and pick up some good eat. Look at that. Frying it up inside the noodle this morning. Things are going to be smelling good, looking good.
Smells so good.
Nathan Velasquez is up in New York City. We always talk Hollywood with him. He is the 5-minute critic. We urge you to follow him all over social media to keep up with the latest. Nate, good morning. How are you?
It's not fair seeing steak and fries on the stream at 10 a.m. That's rough. That's too far away.
What's the weather like up there right now, Nate?
It's good today. It's good today, but this weekend's going to be rough. I think we still got a few weeks of the on again, off again with the cold. I think maybe another month until it's consistently great outside. But today's good.
How long did it take you to get over the snow? Like when it started snowing, you were like, I'm over this shit. Just wrap this stuff up.
Well, I was so excited whenever it started. Like I woke up, it was like already half a foot. Oh yeah. So I had like the camera ready to go. I went out, started filming, and it was a nightmare. After like 30 minutes, it was really, really bad. It's like it was very rough. Then came back home, had to do like some food shopping at some point, and I was like, this is a nightmare. What are we all doing? We're all living in a freezer right now.
And you went from California to there.
No doubt. Nathan, the Oscars are on Sunday. Do you remember when people cared about the Oscars?
I do remember when the first Oscars that I watched, it was in 2006, whenever Martin Scorsese won Best Director and Best Picture for The Departed. And it felt so exciting. It felt like everyone had a vested interest. I was pretty young at the time, so like this bunch of family and friends were gathering together, and it really felt like we were watching, something, hey, it's kind of like the Super Bowl, something that everyone's engaged with. I feel like the bigger story this year is going to be not so much who wins the Oscar, like who's going to take this Best Picture, but how many people are actually going to watch this thing? They're making so many drastic changes, trying to get people to watch this thing. The thing is, I think they could get the audience back. It's just, I don't think they have the time. They probably would, it would probably take like 4 years. They would have to award huge movies. They'd have to create so much FOMO that the day after the Oscars, everyone's like, are you kidding me? They're giving Spider-Man Best Picture. They're giving Dune Best Picture. But they're not going to do that. They're going to keep awarding smaller movies, and it's just going to continue to descend into irrelevancy. I'd love for it to come back. I'd love for it to be exciting, and I'm still going to check it out this weekend. But, it's not as much of a cultural pillar as it used to be.
And then I saw Warner Brothers release some deleted scenes from Batman over the last couple of days.
And it gave us
awesome.
A preview.
Yes, the Joker.
It gave us a preview of the next Joker. Yeah, and they did a good job of, the whole thing's an interrogation, so he's behind glass, so you just get kind of hints and teases of this Joker. So I don't know if we have enough to really say, like, oh, let's compare him to Joaquin Phoenix, let's compare him to Heath Ledger. I think he's better than Jared Leto. I mean, Jared Leto was awful. Yeah. But I think the exciting thing here is this first Batman movie, very good, but I feel like everyone's kind of curious, are they going to do a good job of actually bringing him to the full fruition of Batman? Like, this is very early stages. He's, just very young, broody, emotional. He's not the playboy Bruce Wayne yet. I think by seeing a clip of the new Joker, seeing it like a almost fully formed Joker, playing those mind games that we love seeing in The Dark Knight, and seeing that they're doing it well, I think that this scene is more hype, good hype to be excited about new Batman movies that are coming down the pike, because we got another 2 coming. This is going to be a trilogy.
Wow. And then
I got one real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, if that's early Batman, I'd imagine that would be early Joker then. So that would have been the way he looked is because he's fresh out of the oil or whatever vat he fell in. Is that why you said?
The way the director's hinting that on this one, what actually happened is that the Joker was born with deformities on his face or with his skull. So it's not that he's smiling because of like burns. It's that he was actually born with like a contorted skull that makes him do that. So it's an interesting take. Creepy. I feel like this series of Batman is going to try and be as scary as possible.
Bring it.
I got one more for you, and I think, is it too early to, I don't want to say spoil, but whenever you have the last scene, whenever they're in Arkham, do you think that's the other person in jail? Is that who they were that he was bonding with?
That was the Joker. They've confirmed that.
Okay.
That the other person, there is a scene. It's not a post-credit scene, but you kind of get a tease as to what's coming up next. And they did confirm that is. We're seeing a tease of the Joker there.
Alec Baldwin has fled to Italy. Nathan, we don't want him either, bro.
Well, this is a funnier. I mean, it's a tragic story, but this is a funnier development to see this happening. If you saw the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a few years back, you might remember there's the scenes where Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt go and make a bunch of movies over in Italy because his career in Hollywood, it's just not going well.
Yes.
Right.
And this is what happens whenever you're there's no use for you right now in Hollywood. So whenever you think to yourself, whatever happened to ... they either invested their money like Ashton Kutcher did. He doesn't work anymore, but he's just got a business that made him rich. Or they're making really shitty movies in Europe. Like Sylvester Stallone did this. Steven Seagal did this. It's what Kevin Spacey's literally doing right now. He's just making shitty movies over in Europe. So here, Baldwin is joining the Baldwin brothers. They're all making 2 Christmas movies right now over in Italy. Yeah. It's like, and the thing is, I would get it more if it's like, oh, Baldwin's going over to do his regular, like, gruff guy New Yorker role, but he's doing it in Italy. It's like, what conversations are you having with your agents, your lawyers, where they're like, look, I think the play here we can't work in America right now. Too much heat. I think we go wide and we go Christmas movies in Italy.
So
I don't get that play. It's just so strange. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, hey, this might be what happens. It might be, remember when Alec Baldwin was, making movies over here and now he just kind of makes some weird little shitty Christmas movie over in Italy for the rest of his life. We'll see.
I see all of his broke dick brothers at one time say, I'm in. Hey,
Italy
that's
forever.
right. Ciao. Yes, I'm already here.
He's just hanging out. He's hanging out in his home in the Hamptons, and he sees that one of his brothers calls. He's like, I knew it. I knew this. This is where
we've been waiting on you, Alec. Send your coattails. Let us ride.
It's a one-way flight.
That's right. Tom Cruise. What
this story?
He's so powerful, bro. This is an example of his power,
wild.
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Everyone knows that when you have the level of stardom that someone like Tom Cruise has, then you obviously you got power behind the scenes to do what you want. But what's amazing from what came out yesterday is how much, and Cruise has partnered with Paramount. So this is his relationship with him and Paramount for the last 37 years. This dude practically runs the place over there. And this is like at the executive level. Like pretty much the examples they give, Paramount executives told him 2 years ago, hey, we're going to release the newest Mission Impossible movie summer of 2021. His response, no way. We're going to do it 2023. The last one is 2024. They go, okay, all right, we can do that.
Sweet,
then he says, by the way, we need $100 million more dollars. This budget's now ballooning up to $300 million. They go, okay, all right. They ask in return, look, give us this. Instead of what we normally do, let's do 45 days in theaters, and then we'll put it on our streaming service. We can get subscribers on the streaming service. He goes, no, we're going to do 3 months in theaters, and then you can do the streaming service. And they're like, okay, Tom, no, that's perfectly fine. In the middle of all this, they had like an interim CEO who went like way across the line with him, and he said, hey, remember Days of Thunder, Tom Cruise? We had that great movie back in the 90s. Let's make a series of it. This year we can start filming. We'll make you an executive producer. He goes, no, you're going to wait until 2025 when I'm done with Mission Impossible, and then I'm going to be the executive producer. And it was like, and he was apparently so disrespectful that he had to get out of it. It's wild. Like you expect to hear Brad Pitt, George Clooney, like of course, if they want a scene to go a certain way, or hey, let's do an extra take, or hey, let's get this actor, this actress in here, sure. But this guy runs the place over there when it comes to what he wants to see done. It's insane. I had no idea that he was operating at that level.
Nate, is there do the other A-listers have relationships with Cruise? Cruise feels like he's on an island by himself. Like I've seen Clooney, Pitt, and like Andy Garcia run together. I mean, like, who runs with Cruise?
I think the thing with Tom Cruise and kind of what makes him such a rare breed is we don't really have the type of star anymore like we used to, who understands their job is to be as entertaining as possible, and that means you don't wade into the whether you want to call it the political waters or whatever. You stay in your lane and you master that. He doesn't go for the drama roles so much anymore. He goes for the big budget action movies, and they're really, really good. And I think that by insulating himself, by focusing on that, he's just become an industry in and of himself. And yeah, he's partnered with Paramount. And so he's like, do you want me to walk? Like I generate a shit ton of money for you. Do you want me to leave? Like no one else really has that power right now.
Nathan Velasquez, the 5-minute critic. What are we breaking down this week?
So this week, go onto the channel. We got all of the movies that are nominated for Best Picture, a breakdown of all those. I think Coda's going to be the one to take it. That's on Apple TV if people want to check that out. Next week, we're going to be doing a breakdown of the Batman, this newest Batman, all the movies that it is inspired from, and then kind of a breakdown of where we are probably going from here with this Batman.
Nathan Velasquez, every Friday, the 5-minute critic. Make sure you're following him on social media. I'm going to see if I can keep this tooth in as we eat this steak next, Nate.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, my gosh.
Good luck. Talk to you guys next week.
Video next week. Later, buddy. There is Nathan
Sounds
Velasquez, the 5-minute critic, checking in this morning. Make sure you keep up with him on all of his social media sites. That was brought to you by Relief Med, RELEAF med.com. If you're looking to check out, just watch some movies this weekend, you want to get Relief Medded up, make sure you get over to our friends over there at RELEAF med.com. Pick up your recommendation first if you have not already been recommended by a doctor there by Relief Med to get over and pick up your medical marijuana in the state of Louisiana today. Bring me that green a little closer. Put that green closer to me. There you go. Put that closer. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Mention Jordy and the Jordy 1. Jordy 1 is the promo code. As if you mention that, you get 15% off of your first purchase over at Relief Med. All you got to do is mention Jordy 1 in the promo code over there at Relief Med. Pass it back, boy. Pass it back, buddy.
It's just freshly rolled. Hold on.
Thank you.
I got to roll it up.
It does look pretty green.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Big boy.
Fatty and green. Yeah, okay. All right. Bong rip, huh? All right.
We don't use the product here.
Can we eat now?
Yes, I'm starving.
It up.
Let's eat. Relief Med. Make sure to use the promo code Jordy1. The cooking couple is here. They just brought the food onto set. We grub next. Compliments of Go Chevrolet.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Southern Eye Centers, where their passion is caring for eyes. It's what they do. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been offering the Capital Region a friendly, helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. Stop in and see their brand new office on Jefferson Highway today, where you can find them at 6859 Jefferson Highway. They also are the daily poll sponsor on the Culotta Show. And remember, if you go into Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you will receive 25%
to accommodate
over at Southern Eye Center. Check out Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center, the daily poll sponsor of the Jordy Culotta Show. Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. It is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media.
You bet your ass it's
Lance
good,
called
right?
me
Bet your ass it's good.
Lance called me last night. He was like, "Hey man, I just wanted to touch base. Last week's segment was a little shorter than last week. Was there something wrong?" I was like, "Yeah, I was trying to get off so I could eat, bro." What are you gonna do? I hate having to ask questions in between bites.
Make sure I didn't do something wrong.
No, yeah, you did, bro. You fucked this steak up so bad that I want another one.
Made it too good.
Steak and Fritz on the menu this morning from our friends over at Iverstein's. Compliments of the cooking couple.
Yeah.
Who are back here for another Foodie Friday segment, which has been one of my favorites. I wake up Fridays and contemplate whether or not I should eat breakfast.
I don't.
That's it.
You don't?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Absolutely not.
I put a little something in my stomach just to get through, just to get here. But I mean, like,
You're up
Relief
early.
Man.
every Friday, bro, is.
This
I mean,
is
like,
second
I'm
breakfast, like
looking
Papa
forward
style.
to. I mean, and then last week I came back and ate leftovers
Hell yeah.
for lunch. Took
That's
some
good.
home for little Jay, that she
Hell
loved it. I
yeah.
mean, bro, it was the Foodie Friday segment. I don't know if this could go any better. I mean, it's gone so much better than I thought it was going to go, and I knew it was going to be perfect. What do we eat this morning so I can eat, for God's sakes? Y'all talk.
So, but Christy went and picked these up.
Yeah, talked to Galen this week, went over to the butcher shop, and he was like, how about we do the Wagyu New York strips? And I was like, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be upset about
bro.
that. Let's go ahead and do it.
food
So
porn,
we took
right?
a video of Oliver slicing up some steaks, which I think I posted.
Yes.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you have it.
I have it.
But you don't have to show it.
Yeah, you cut up some steaks for us.
Sliced them up. I took them home. Salt and pepper, which
Salt and pepper.
That's it, right?
salt and pepper.
The secret to a steak is a lot of salt.
Yeah, it's a lot of salt. Don't listen to anybody. You gotta salt your steak.
Yeah.
I did it 24 hours in advance, but you don't have to do that.
I like to do them a little bit in advance, not right at the moment, right? There's at least a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
For
That's
sure.
it. We sliced them up, seared them here today. So this was the easy prep for us. Lance cut and blanched the potatoes last
Yeah.
night because.
So
y'all, steak
good
greases.
French fries are something that's special.
These are perfect French
Well,
fries. These aren't good French fries. They're perfect.
This is the way a French fry is supposed to be
So
cooked.
these are fried in avocado oil.
Yeah.
So we don't use any garbage oils. You ain't gonna find any soybean,
No seed oil.
canola bullshit. We
sure.
don't. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
You could also use lard or tallow.
Which we'll
duck
probably
fat,
do
ghee,
soon
all
with
kinds of stuff.
Iverstein.
Yeah, we'll be messing around now that we have a fryer. But yeah, the fries are just leave them in the fryer. I don't understand. We go to eat
Well, yeah, I mean,
in
the-
town, and people, even if they are hand cut, they're never crispy enough. So you have to blanch at a lower temperature.
The blanching takes place around 270. You cut the fries, you drop them in the grease at 270 instead of 370.
Let me ask for the idiots out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is blanching?
Blanch means you take something from raw to almost cooked.
You're par cooking it.
Gotcha.
You're par cooking it. In a lot of kitchens, you would just call it par cook. Did you par cook the
Does
fries?
that answer your question, Rico? You had to make me look like the asshole to ask you for
Well,
it.
just like you would
Yeah, right.
blanch
Like,
your green beans.
yeah,
and
blanch
some
green
boiling
beans.
Watered,
Yep.
you can blanch all sorts of
For
things.
sure.
But these for fries, you cut them.
Yep.
You normally soak them in water, get a little bit of the starch
Yeah,
out.
overnight is best if you're going to soak your fries overnight. These I soaked about 40 minutes last night and then blanched
Then
them.
drain them, blanch them,
Yeah.
and then you're ready to roll. Then you can just have blanched, fries in the fridge and drop
There's
them in
the
the fryer whenever you
potatoes
want.
becoming French
I
fries.
hear that crunch from over here, and it's
That's how
like
you know
the
they're good.
perfect
The
sound.
crunchy fries.
It is my biggest complaint when we go out to eat is fries not being
fries.
crunchy. Yeah,
I
what
agree.
the hell?
I
Just
agree.
leave it in the fryer another minute, you guys.
You'll
One more minute.
ever double fry the fries?
I would
Well-
double fry a fry.
Yeah, so
I would.
yeah, so definitely you
I'm
could
in.
definitely do that. It's funny because these while we were back there doing this, I fried them and then we just pulled them and let them sit, and then
We were
took
trying
them
to
right
get
to the
timing
brink.
for in here,
Yeah.
And also keeping them crispy,
Absolutely.
hot and crispy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the Wagyu steaks, Galen texted us in our little group chat.
What is Wagyu?
Yeah. So this is the same beef they use in Japan in the Kobe program, but this Wagyu that Iverstein is getting, that Galen's getting, is from Texas. It's American Wagyu, which is from semen smuggled from Japan. So it's our own little breed. I know I was very
Little
excited.
illegal meat.
What'd you say?
It's
I
been
was
smuggled.
very excited to talk about
These Kobe
smuggled
cows
semen.
were
Yeah, I was
smuggled
about
here.
to say, everybody's gonna let that go.
No, we're not.
yeah,
We're not letting that go. We're
Illegal
going to say
meat.
it a couple more times.
Yeah,
Smuggled
yeah.
semen.
My partner.
Yeah, the semen smuggled the semen.
They have any more for my tooth?
That's why you don't have to salt the steak.
So it's.
Doing a bad thing by cutting the fat off then? Is that painful?
I won't be upset about it because it's
It's
a New York
okay.
strip. It's a little bit different. But if
Yeah.
y'all saw the video, the marbling in this strip was
Yeah, the marbling was really good.
so good.
Yeah, and when I started to cook,
Look at that.
you see how big the fat cap is?
Get it.
Started to cook, fat side down to kind of get that rendered up a
yeah.
little bit to make it more edible. Because if you don't sort of focus on it a little,
You gotta
it ends
sear-
up
we
being
sear
too
the
big,
sides,
and
the fat side down for the strip, and then
the same way you would like a
Flip
duck
it.
breast.
this
What's
was-
the how long? How long did you sear it for? Each side?
Shit, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, not
3 to
long.
4,
3 to 4 minutes.
maybe 5 minutes on each
It's
side,
not long. It's
maybe.
hot. It's a hot and fast. And these are fat, but not so fat that you need to stick them in the oven and do a
right.
whole
These were the perfect little thickness.
perfect temp. Perfect.
Perfect.
So when
thickness.
you told me yesterday that we were doing steak and frites, Lance, you mentioned that you were going to cook in the studio,
Yep.
and that you were going to pan sear it. And I said, "Is that the best way to do it?" You said that's your most favorite way to
That
do
is
steak.
It's my favorite way to do steak. I hate to
grilled
say it.
steak is delicious.
Grilled is good.
But you sear it in a cast iron skillet, or we use carbon steel, which is fine too. Sear it in a pan, hot ass pan with some butter and a little fresh herbs. That's the only way.
Yeah, and
I
you know
really
what?
like
What
steak.
I've done too is kind of fun. I've done a hybrid where I'll start them on the grill, and then I'll bring a butter pan
Yep,
out to the
we've
grill,
done that too. So you
stick
get the
them in.
flavor.
Yeah.
It's like a grilled reverse sear.
And I've also seen people go from the stovetop to the oven.
Yeah, you can do that
if you're
too.
cooking like
If
a big
your steak's
fillet.
real thick, or ribeye. I know
For
for our
sure.
ribeyes, we'll sear them and then put them in the oven to finish, which is fine too.
Yeah, and look, I know it's sexy to have that mid-rare color.
Yeah.
Like when I cook a ribeye, a lot of times I'll go medium, so it's less. You have less of the bright red. But I like to do that just so it renders more of the fat.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
you
and the
can
fat's
eat more of it.
crispier and.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you when you put it. You said you put it fat side
Yeah.
down. Do you then you don't put butter on the same pan then, right? You just go
Oh yeah, butter.
fat side. Or do you
butter
do? Or do you
pan.
Oh, butter, baby, butter
Fat
everywhere.
side
Yeah.
down. And I
Yeah.
really made sure, even in that video, you can see that fat cap. You salt the shit out of it because you want that salty, crispy fat so that it melts in your mouth.
And that it did.
Wow.
Hand cut fries. It's so simple.
Smuggled semen.
Smuggled semen, hand-cut fries. I mean, shit, it doesn't get much better.
Text from Galen this week. I was
That's
like,
a great term.
He said, "Hey, make sure you mention."
make sure you mention the smuggled semen from the Wagyu beef.
Wow.
Yeah, some illegal action took place to get
I feel
these.
drunk.
A lot of ways.
I really do.
Post-coital.
I feel like I need a cigarette
It's like a smuggled semen.
or a joint, something.
Yeah,
So good, man. I mean, so we have been urging to go public with the recipes, and
Yes.
this week's pretty simple.
Well,
right?
This
yeah,
week's
and
super
we did
simple.
We did a live too. So
we did a
y'all can
live. It's
share.
up on our Instagram. You can kind of peek at
On
just
You
the
Bet Your Ass
beginning
It's
of the cook, so you can sort of see the beginning of the cook. Yeah, that's one of the things is like we say it all the time. You just need to come and sit and watch us cook because it's not that hard.
No,
you
it's
don't
not
need a recipe.
complicated.
I feel like we're going to be doing that here pretty
You
soon.
see
Yeah,
how much
we
salt
are.
is on
We are.
here? I love when I see recipes and they're like, use a quarter
Look,
teaspoon of salt. I'm like, okay, well,
I'ma tell
I use
you.
at least 3 teaspoons on these two
I,
steaks minimum. Probably more than that.
I sort of moonlighted one time at a huge steakhouse in town during the holidays. My buddy was the exec chef. He said, "Hey, can you come help us out?" And he's going over their pointers about, they hand cut their steaks. They season them with just salt and pepper, exactly what we did here. And he said, the guideline from our corporate headquarters, from the executive chefs, is if you're salting them enough, you should get 2 to 3 complaints a night about the steak being too salty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they know that if they're not getting a complaint here and there,
That it wasn't seasoned enough.
then it wasn't seasoned enough.
Wow.
Salt.
That's how much salt you use.
What's the
Look at
challenge?
There it is.
What's the challenges of cooking
Oh.
steak at a steakhouse?
The challenge is having them all done correctly.
Exactly the
How do you
temp.
monitor that?
It's a nightmare.
That
'cause I've done
adrenaline
it and
is
it's-
going and you're in the zone.
But there's
and
also
you're-
tricks. Like you might, if you get an order for that's got 8 steaks on it, let's say, you'll drop all of them.
4.
You'll say, okay, let me just get them all kind of rare. Got a good sear on them.
Yeah.
Then you'll say, okay, the ones that need to go more, I'm going to slide those in the oven real quick, and you kind of figure it out.
Because I've never
It-
cooked
it is
for
a
more
pain
than,
in the
like,
ass, though.
3 in my life,
Right.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you give me like 5 steaks, and hey, we need these other. I'm like, oh shit.
Everybody's eating at separate times.
Well, not that, but everybody wants it as like a different way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you would get lucky to be like, all right, 4
Absolutely.
steaks, 4 medium rare. Be like, thank God. But
Right.
if there's like medium well plus, medium
Yeah.
rare,
Yeah, right.
black and blue, it's like, okay, Jesus.
You get a well, you just drop it in the fryer and
Just
forget
drop
about
in
it.
the- Since they're
I
ruining
I listen to the
it
Foodie
and-
Friday segment. They tell me to go to the oven and the stove. What do you want me to do?
I've done that.
Jesus.
I had,
Shoe on a tire.
I had a steak come back twice at a different restaurant, and they said, it's not done enough. And I'm like, I'm like sweating, like dying back there.
It's
I'm
like
like,
rubber.
I was like, with the tongs, grab it off the waitress's plate and just turned around and dropped it in the fryer. They
love
said
that.
it's the best steak they ever had.
Wow, man. 3rd time's a charm. Right. That's special smuggled semen you got there.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, right.
This was simple. This was an easy
Yeah, this
win.
was easy.
And I like that we
this,
did
This
that.
felt like but I mean, you still with the easy plates, you still got to kill it.
You got to
Right.
do everything just right.
Like,
When
Look,
it's-
gotta get
here's
it.
the thing is, simple ain't always easy.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. That's what
But
I'm
it
saying.
is, but it ain't.
It's
You just
perfect
gotta
though.
execute it.
Remember back like week 1 or 2, we had somebody ask, "Hey, is Wagyu worth it?
Yes.
Is Wagyu worth it?
What do y'all
What do
think?
y'all
This is
think?"
the first time I've ever had it. It's unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah.
That poor cow
Yeah.
got massaged. He had a great life.
Yep.
Yeah.
He got tender loving care.
It took good care of him.
Smuggled with
TLC?
semen.
Yeah, right, bro. What a life.
We finished him off.
Are you a steak eater? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Love it. Me too.
I mean, I could eat. I mean,
eat steak every day.
I hope my doctor's not listening, but I could eat it 3 meals a day.
Okay.
You should.
Beef is a superfood. So
Don't eat
tell
bread,
your
don't eat
doctor.
sugar, and just eat
Steak,
steak.
and you'll be healthy.
You'll
as
be
a
good to go,
cow.
baby.
Beef is where it's at.
Good to go.
Superfood.
So no sugar.
These
anywhere.
are my
No
steak
sugar
earrings.
anywhere near
These
your
are
diet?
custom made
No.
steak
Oh,
earrings.
I didn't even notice that.
How do you?
I put honey in my coffee.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Natural sugars. So is that like
we don't even have sugar at our house. We just.
It's fairly challenging to keep sugar out of your diet, is it not? I mean, like
it is, especially if you eat out a lot,
which I do,
which we do sometimes.
But even then, you go out. Meat and potatoes,
meat
a little
potatoes.
salad if you want. Just eat meat.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Welcome to the Culotta Show.
Just eat meat on Friday.
Hell yeah. All right. I mean,
I didn't even use my fork.
I love it.
Iverstein Wagyu. It's hard to beat.
Christy, tell them about Iverstein's this week. What was the shopping experience like for picking this up?
It was fantastic. I love going in there. I go in and Galen's like, "What do y'all want? What do you want to do this week?" We already.
He gave you a silly choices though this week. It was funny. He was like, "Do you want some like ground pork and we'll do breakfast patties, or do you want Wagyu ribeye?"
Wagyu was the first choice. Yeah.
Right.
So I walked in. Me and Oliver shot that video, which was. It was great. I mean, I love going in there.
Fat.
It was in the meat cooler. They were training up some new butcher guys and.
Well, yeah, I mean they're in it, because they're moving in a couple of months, so it's going to be
right.
Yeah.
It's got them kind of.
Look,
you're stepping and fetching.
Look at that thing just slide through there.
It's just.
Oh Lord. Well, let me tell you, when I slice these things for you guys, man,
I was
so
like,
tender.
Just slice me off a couple little.
Well, we had video of that, of you cutting it after it came off of the stovetop, and it was
sexual.
I mean, it was. It absolutely was.
Right?
We've got to go to break. Got to get it up tucked before they get to the set here, bro.
Flush. Gotta have my control briefs.
So hard.
Another cigarette, for God's sakes. I don't even smoke. Cigarettes.
That's how it is.
Cooking Couple, it's great to see you. You bet your ass it's good all over IG, all over social media, every week here, every Friday. And just like Lance said, at some point we are going to take you into their kitchen. We are going to start doing. We are doing this.
Y'all bring any ketchup for the steak?
No A1 or ketchup.
Catch these hands. Yeah. All right, have a good day. We will be with you Sunday night. Clout Chaser's going to be here Sunday night.
Y'all going to learn how to work a board.
Mic'd up will be here Monday, 11 to 1. And as always, make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Give You Bet Your Ass It's Good a follow on Instagram. They're here every week. Give us some recommendations on their social media, on our social media, what you would like to see being cooked up on Foodie Fridays, how you like your steak, any questions that you may have. We can answer them all here.
Ask the Cooking Couple.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very easy to get in touch with us every Friday here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Brought to you by Iverstein's. Shout out to Galen and the crew over there. Make sure that you stop in and see them over on Perkins Road. And as Christy said, just a couple of weeks away from moving locations. They'll be moving just right down Perkins Road, right over Essen. If you're heading towards Highland, if you're heading towards Segan Lane on Perkins. He is moving just right past Essen in that shopping center. In fact, it's the old Romans Lebanese restaurant is going to be the new Iverstein's right over there on Perkins Road. Thank you to the Cooking Couple. Thank you to Jordan Faircloth. Thanks to everybody who interacted and was with us this week. For the Carpool Queen, for Lloyd, for Noah, for Stewie, for everybody over here at FM Digital Media. We will see you Monday, 7 a.m. Make sure to hit that like, share, comment button. Have a good weekend.